Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I want to take this time and thank the 500 plus subscribers and followers that this channel has. I am truly appreciative, grateful, and I thank you for taking the time to subscribe, because something that I posted, a video that I made, a comment that I said made you feel comfortable enough that this was the right channel for you to get the information that you are looking for. So once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am going to continue making content, posting comment that is for education purposes, experiences, in order to help us all learn and follow and go through this notary journey in order to make all of us very successful. So once again, thank you to the 500 plus subscribers, and I am truly grateful. That's it. Now, let's get into this video. Alright, y'all, so from the title of this video, this is a continuation of the first video that I did regarding remote online notarization, my journey from the beginning until now. I am going to pin that video in the comments, so if you haven't seen that video, you can go back and see that one. So I am all things learning, education, and transparency here on this channel. So in that first video, I provided a list of 3 states that had no RON information listed or plans to, and one of those states was South Carolina. One of the subscribers saw it, reached out to me and said, hey, in actuality, South Carolina can be RONs. And so I thanked her. I went and did my research, and she is correct. So on May 18th of 2021, Governor Henry McMaster signed the South Carolina Electronic Notary Public Act into law, and that act allows a notary public to register as an electronic notary and set forth the requirements for electronic notary publics and electronic notarial acts. Of course, online registration as an electronic notary public is open for commissioned South Carolina notaries. I wanted to come and provide an update and provide the correct information, because that is what I'm all about. If anyone ever finds something that I said and it was incorrect, I will come back and correct myself. So this is a correction that I'm making. I thank that subscriber for reaching out to me and letting me know that yes, South Carolina notaries can be RON notaries. So I'm providing an update for you on that. So that information is listed below. Thank you. So we're going to move on into this video. So in this video, we are going to talk about the 5 pros and cons of remote online notarization, and we are going to start with the pros. We all like the pros because that's the positive stuff. So that's what we're going to start with. So our first pro is convenience. Being remote online notary provides a convenience because you can get your documents notarized from anywhere. You can get them notarized from the comfort of your home, if you're in your office, if you're in the airport traveling, if you are in your car traveling from one destination to the next, if you're in the park walking your dog and you forgot you need to get a document notarized, you can hop online and get a notarization completed anywhere. So number 1 is convenience. The second pro is accessibility. For accessibility, geographical barriers have become a thing of the past when it comes to remote online notarization. As long as you have internet access, if you have a laptop or a phone or iPad or a tablet, you are able to access a remote notary public anytime, anywhere, 24/7, 365. I've had signers from um, Senegal. I've had signers from, of course, here in the United States. I've had them from India. I've had them from Australia. I've had them from many, many, many different places. And that is because remote online notary is so accessible until it allows you to have these comforts. So that's number 2, accessibility. Number 3 is going to be efficiency. So when we think about efficiency, basically remote online notary services streamline the process, which saves both time and effort for the signer and for the notary too. So documents can be notarized quickly, within minutes, and transactions. So I think the shortest time I've done a notarization has probably taken 2 minutes. The longest notarization I have done took 2 hours. That was because it was a refinance that I was doing on a RON platform, and I had 4 signers and 2 witnesses present. And I think the packet for the refinance was 135 pages. And the thing was that each one of those signers was in different areas, which brings back the which brings into the which brings into the pro of accessibility. Because they all had computers, they were all in different areas across the country, we could still meet in one place in order to get the refinance done. So it took 2 hours and I think about 30 minutes. And like I said, I had 4 signers and I had 2 witnesses. That was very it took a while. It took a while for us to get it done. We got it done. So I was happy about that. So number 3 is efficiency. Number 4 is enhanced security. Contrary to common misconceptions about remote online notary has some of the safest security measures ever. They do use what's called KBA, which is a knowledge-based authentication. Anytime you do a RON for any signer, they have to go through the KBA. And now we're getting to where biometrics is also playing a role. You do have some platforms that are using biometrics, which is the same way we use on our phones, for your face recognition, for your thumbprint recognition, or handprint recognition. Some of those use them. So if you have if you're a person who says, you know what, I get stuff notarized maybe 5 or 6 times a month, you may be one of those people who may want to get you a account with a remote online notary platform. That remote online notary platform, instead of you going through the KBA every single time, they can set you up with biometrics, and you can either say, okay, I'm going to use a PIN number, or I may use my thumbprint, or I may use an eye scan, and then every time I log on, we're going to use that biometric, and when that biometric goes through, they know it's me, and then it will go ahead and go on. If you don't have biometrics, then of course you're going to have to go through some form of KBA, which once again is knowledge-based authentication, every time you go to do a notarization. So remote online notary is very secure. It is secure platforms. It is tamper proof, and they go through measures to ensure that your information, from your personal information to the document, and also my information as the notary public, is kept safe all the time. So that is number 4, which is security. The number 5 pro is environmental impact. So by opting to doing remote online notary services, you're contributing to environmental sustainability, because that means that we have reduced paper paper transportation. So you don't have to print out the document. If you have been sent the document from a third party and you get on the remote platform, you can upload that same document. So you don't have to print it out like you're going to an in-person notary. Now, if you want to do that, then that is most certainly your prerogative and you can. But if not, guess what? You upload that PDF format. That PDF format gets completed. Once that PDF format is completed, it is emailed back to you. If you need to forward it to someone else, you can download it and then forward it to the person who needs it. If you need to print it out, then at that point you can print it out. But instead of printing out a document one to 3 times, you only print it out 1 time. So I think that is a cost-saving measure for the environmental impact, because that means that we have less of a carbon footprint, and of course it's an eco-friendly practice. So maybe not everybody cares about the environmental impact, but I do, because I have children that I'm going to leave this, that we're going to leave this world to, and we want to make sure that they have some type of world to leave it to, and that's just my opinion. So those are our 5 pros. Once again, they are convenience, accessibility, efficiency, security, and environmental impact. Now we're going to move into the cons. So the first con is going to be your technological requirements. Of course, you need to have reliable internet connectivity, and you got to have compatible devices. Of course, you have individuals, like I said, yes, you can use your phone when you're doing a remote online notary session. But if you are traveling from place to place, then that may be, if you're in the car, that may be kind of hard, because, the signal may not be so great. Also, if you live in a rural area, the signal may not be as great either. So those are some of the cons regarding your technological requirements. Sometimes you need headphones in order to hear. Sometimes you need to have a laptop because your phone isn't working. I've seen where I've had sessions where someone starts out on their phone and I'm not able to hear them and they're not able to hear me, and then we have to end the session because they need to move to their computer to see if it'll work. So the first con is technological requirements. The second is authentication challenges. So I mentioned the KBA, which is knowledge-based authentication. So with the knowledge-based authentication, once you input your information, the system will run a check and it will bring up information that is privy to only you and your life. You have 2 minutes to answer these questions, and you have to answer all of the questions correctly, and you have 2 chances in order to answer these questions. If you do not answer those questions correctly in those 2 minutes, you will be locked out, and then therefore you will not be able to do anything until 24 hours after you were locked out. So it is great for everyone to know. Like, it asks you, what was the color of your first car? What was the last street you live on? What was your mother's maiden name? So, these type of things. And so it also asks you, what was the first job you ever had? So these are the type of knowledge-based authentication questions that they ask you. And like I said, you have 2 chances to answer 5 questions. And if you don't answer those 5 questions, then you cannot continue and then you're going to either have to find another platform to start completely over with, or you're going to have to wait the 24 hours in order to come back on, go back through. It gives you another set of questions. You answer those questions correctly, and if you answer them correctly, you continue on to get your document completed. If not, then it's going to lock you out again, and you're going to have to wait 24 hours again. So authentication challenges is another con that we have on remote online notary platforms. The third con is legal recognition. So yes, remote online notary is here. You can do remote online notary, but that does not mean that they're going to be accepted by the office, country of who you're doing it for. So for you, for those who do know, I'm an apostille courier here in the state of Florida. I recently had where I had a client. We did her remote online notarization online. I went and got the apostille done. I sent the document back to her, and when she sent the document to the country that it was supposed to be used in, the country told her they did not accept electronic signed documents, and that she needed to go back, do it again, go to an in-person notary so they could have a wet signature on the document, get the document apostille, and then sent back to them. So just because you do your online notarization does not mean that it is going to be legally recognized by the state, country, county who you are getting the document completed for. What I usually tell people is, before we do this, please can you reach out to whomever you're getting this done for and ask them, is this going to be legally recognized by them? If it is, boom, then we can go ahead and get it completed. If not, then my suggestion would be to find an in-person notary in your area to get this completed, then send me the document, or whatever, as far as apostilles go, then send me the document to get completed. Or in the event, find an in-person notary, get this completed, and then provide it to the individual who needs it. So legal recognition is our third con. So number 4 is the human element. There are some individuals who do like that face-to-face, in-person notary experience. There's nothing wrong with that. I have had clients, they will call me and I'll tell them, hey, you have the ability to get it done online, and we can meet, and this is what happens when we do it online. And they'll say, no, I don't want to do that. Is there any way you can come to me, or is there any way we can meet each other so we can get this completed? Yes, no problem at all, and we'll do that. So some individuals like that human touch, face-to-face interaction, and with that, then they're never going to be anybody that does wrong. They're going to always want to have that in-person interaction, and I don't see anything or wrong with that. And if that's the way that they will like it to be, I'm fine with it. I can meet you, and I can do it both ways. So that human element is our 4th con. Number 5 is cost consideration. So while remote online notary services, they are convenient, they are accessible, and they are efficient, some of them come at a premium cost. For the state of Florida, we can charge $25 for a remote online notarization. That is the minimum. But if there's adding extra seals and you're adding additional witnesses, then all of that adds up, because you have to pay for each of that. You have to pay for each additional seal, you have to pay for each additional witness. And if you have 2 or 3 signers, and then you have to have a witness at the same time, and then you're adding on 4 or 5 seals to that, that could be a costly measure, rather than if it was one of those human element in-person interactions where it may cost less. But I tell people, you pay for what you get. If you understand that, hey, this may cost me a little bit more, but I don't want to go anywhere, and they also provide this and they also provide that, then you're fine with it. If not, then you may want to look at another option in order to get your remote online services done. So those are our 5 cons. Once again, they are the technological requirements, authentication challenges, legal recognition, the human element, and last, the cost considerations. So those are the pros and cons regarding remote online notarization in my opinion. Once again, this is just my opinion. I am going to be doing a video regarding remote online notarization and biometrics and how the two come together and how it is, is working, because like I mentioned before, we all use biometrics in our everyday life with our fingers or our faces, or our hands. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe, and put down in your comments, have you ever done a remote online notarization? Are you a remote online notary? If you are, what is some pros and cons that maybe I didn't mention today? I love interacting with you guys. I hope you guys have found something helpful and enjoyable in this video. Until next time, happy stamping and signing. Alright, one last thing that I wanted to do is that on my previous ROM video, I had individuals ask me what ROM platform should they choose if they decided to become a remote online notary. So I'm going to give you guys my top 5 ROM platforms. Number 1 is OneNotary. This is the one that I am on now. This is the one that I use 98% of the time. So OneNotary is number 1. Number 2 is Proof, who used to be known as Notarize. Number 3 is NotaryCam. Number 4 is DocVerify. And number 5 is CyberizIt. You guys can go and do your research and then determine which one you feel is the best fit for you if you become a remote online notary or if you're already one.